category of autism accounts for more than 100% of the growth in the special education population.
The number of special needs students are increasing in our community and throughout California. But our preschool age, we're seeing a high increase in autism, speech, and other health impairments.
In the 19 years I've been at my school, we have seen a rapid increase in the number of students with autism and our students with emotional disturbance IEPs.
Your sense is just a lot more kids to take care of with more severe needs. Is that what's happening, or?
In my particular setting, absolutely.
The population of special education students in California is growing.
Because we have declining enrollment in statewide.
Right.
But we have increasing special education enrollment. These students are severely impacted and need a higher level of support.
Last year we were up to 1,600. It's a huge increase of over almost 1,000 students with autism.
Here we have these huge increases in students with disabilities, and we have this burgeoning preschool population that has just exploded across the state.
People, does this sound like your childhood? I mean, do you have any recollection of what it was like when we were kids? Do you remember hearing about anything like this? Well, don't worry, there's a savior on our hands. At this meeting, someone that California really counts on. Take a listen to this genius.
I do need to clarify some statements you made before. I myself am a health professional who studies epidemiology. Your comments about autism and autism rates, I think, does not accurately reflect the current science. There's a growing body of research showing that the, quote, increase in autism rates is due to difference in diagnosis, changes in the DSM. Actually, it was only in 1991 where the Department of Education, the U.S. Department of Education, actually said the children with autism qualify for special education, and actually we've seen a concomitant rise in diagnoses because of that. Probably, you know, you can talk about different incentives. There's been research done, for example, in England. They've actually gone back and reassessed a sample of the population using a standardized measure of characters of autism and actually found out that the adults who weren't diagnosed with autism before when they were children, because we had different set of criteria, actually had the same rates as the children. So basically emphasizing that probably those people always had autism, we just had different sets of criteria, and those have changed over time. So when you go and do a standardized criteria and say, we're just going to take a sample of the population and reevaluate them, it's, you know, you get the same rate for older people than as the children. So I think that, you know, that the body of research is moving in that direction. I just want to clarify that statement that you made earlier.
Thank you, Senator.
Okay. Actually, for that, Doctor.
Doctor, thank you, Doctor. Yes.
Actually, for that, shill. Pharma shill. I mean, this guy, I mean, look at, if you're a blue pill eater, you must be sitting there going, yeah, but I mean, I want to agree with you, Senator Pam, but I mean, where were all of those autistic kids when I was a kid? Like, where are the adults my age at 48? Where are you? I just told you my age. Where are all the 48-year-old? Where are you keeping them? I can't eat enough of these things to make this make sense. I mean, this is ridiculous. The fact that this guy is even elected in a state that considers itself intelligent. This is insane. Hold on, I can't talk. We've been looking at the autism numbers, and now we have a study that came out from several different great people, including Mark Blaxill, and the name of it was this: California Autism Prevalence Trends from 1931 to 2014 in comparison to national ASD data from IDA and ADDM. What did we find when you looked at these numbers in California?
Autism rates used to be really, really low, and now they're really, really high. It's not that complicated. No matter how you do it, the trend lines are pretty close. You know, the rate of increase is the same. They're running right next to each other. You can see cases born in the 1930s, and then for a long, long time, there are very few cases, but more. And then right around 1980, the rates started trending up, and then we saw the sharp inflection that we always see around 1990, right. And then even another kind of acceleration. Yeah, you can see that chart there around 2007. So
Right. So why 1990? Why do we see this thing just suddenly just ramp up in your opinion?
I would, Del, this is a trends paper. It's not a causation paper.
Okay.
And so I think, in my opinion, there has to be an environmental cause. Pan's study, this great study that he spent minutes on, was a study looking at Asperger's rates
Okay.
in adults. And they based to read the study, it's one of the most tortured models you'll ever see. But it estimated that Asperger's rates were 1% of adults, but that was based on an extrapolation of an extrapolation of an extrapolation. The number of adults in their survey that they were using as their foundation was 19. So
19
only
adults.
19 cases of Asperger-ish,
Right.
adults were used to justify this extravagant argument. Just think for a moment how extraordinarily bold and outrageous this argument is, that all of these numbers we're seeing going up, exponentially, it's just an illusion. An extraordinary argument like that requires extraordinary proof, and they do not have from that study any level of confidence, or I wouldn't have any level of confidence, that 19 cases proves that we've seen this forever. Leo Kanner defined autism among children born in the 1930s. If you say we were just not alert to all of these things, that these kids were always around there, then let's start the clock before 1930. And there's a population scientist who wrote an article. The total number of human beings born before 1930 in history is 100 billion. Take whatever rate you want to apply to that. Say it's 1 in 36.
Right.
That's a good one. That's 2.76%. 2.76% of 100 billion is 2.7 billion human beings. So before 1930, there were 2.7 billion of these rocking kids that we just never wrote about. No cave drawings, no literature, no nothing. We had a lot of recorded history before 1930, and there supposedly were 2.7 billion autistic people that we just neglected missed. It defies belief that you can make that extraordinary claim and defend, and that's the claim that you're making, that we missed 2.7 billion humans with autism before Leo Kanner described it as a rare condition.
Probably those people always had autism. We just had different sets of criteria.
Shill. Pharma shill.